Hello, everyone. I'm Andy, and this is Strange Stuff Podcast. And you might have noticed Mark isn't here. He's just gone for a wee. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to tell you that we are going to really disagree today. And also get my side of the story in first. At the end of the day, I'm right. He's going to argue morals and stupid stuff like that, but I'm right. Anyway, here we are, part 2 of the Silk Road. Oh, I can hear him coming. He whistles while he pees. At least I hope he's peeing.
Morning, Andy.
Morning. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mark. What, we're already recording?
And this is Strange Stuff Podcast.
Mark
is back from the toilet.
What, you recorded the whole thing, did you? Excellent.
Yeah, you whistle while you wee.
No, I don't.
Listen to this episode.
I think I might miss out on that bit. Oh, dear.
Okay, so the problem with my phone, my new phone, the Flash Foldy one.
Folding?
Yeah, I got a Samsung Galaxy flip phone, didn't I?
Why?
Because it was time to replace my old phone.
When the rest of the world is going Apple.
Yeah, well, that's probably half the reason why.
You might be right, actually.
Fed up with all these fucking billionaires.
Samsung is Japanese, I take it, or is it Korean?
Korean, I think.
All right, well, that's good. Let me check that before I...
You actually... No, you didn't see my phone because, of course, you didn't turn up to the Strange Stuff Christmas party.
No, you're right. I had more important things to do. Samsung. No, it's got, 3,000 things about Samsung.
Oh.
Korean. No, still can't get it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not Apple.
No. But I bought it anyway, and I was very happy with it until Robin, who's got one of the older models.
Yes.
We were at work and he started complaining that his phone started misbehaving insofar as when he opened it, the screen was dark and it wouldn't come on.
Oh dear.
And he's ended up having to send it away to have a new screen and a new cable and a new hinge put in, which is mostly done under his insurance. But I was mocking him and like showing him how mine worked seamlessly. And then it didn't.
What do you mean? Yours is not working?
No, it went exactly the same way. So I've had to send it off, which is why you couldn't contact me probably. But I don't understand how, because this is my old iPhone.
Yes.
And I put the SIM card from this phone into the new flip, and now it's back in here, and it doesn't work.
Because the thing is that you're not on iMessages. Let me have a look. Oh! Actually, you are back. Yes, you are back on iMessages.
Yes.
But the strange thing is that you come up as your email address now on my screen, not as Andy.
Yeah, because for some reason, I cannot connect to my telephone network with this phone, even though I've put the SIM card in. So I've been a week without being able to make or receive a phone call, which hasn't been bad.
Well, you've been on holiday.
Also not being able to use my bank ID for anything, which has been kind of bad.
Well, how long is it going to take to fix this phone?
Well, I posted it on Monday evening and they've posted it back on Friday evening. So I might have it Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
Should have it Tuesday.
No. Idiot.
I would not count on tomorrow. That
No.
would be very optimistic in Sweden.
Tuesday, there might not be a world to post in.
Oh, what's happened? What has Donald done now?
It's not necessarily Donald, it's the whole feeling of what's going on at the moment. Donald
Well,
really thinks that it's going to be 4 superpowers. It's so Orwellian, it's almost untrue. It's going to be Russia, China, America, and the rest of the world.
I don't know if Russia can still be counted as a superpower.
No, they can cause super problems, though.
Yeah.
And the way it's going, it looks like Russia's going to be aligned with the USA. And this
Yeah.
idiot.
Donald wants him back in NATO.
And J.D. Vance, the vice president of the American situation, he managed to alienate all of the European leaders.
Oh, well, that's kind of normal for Americans. They come to Europe, tell us off for not being puppy dogs, and then fuck off back to America. No offense to our American listeners, but fuck off.
I wonder what the American people think of it. Do you think that Trump supporters think, oh, yeah, let's take over Greenland, that's a good idea?
I don't
do they
know.
actually think it's a good idea?
I don't know. They might think it's in their best interest to come under the Kentucky Fried Chicken wing. It's like, I don't know.
Had we spoken before or after Musk had been in the Oval Office? Have we spoken about that?
We were speaking about his executive orders last time. How he's pumping them out.
I can't remember whether we actually spoke about the fact that Musk appears in the Oval Office.
Oh, and his son
in
wiping
a t-shirt and jeans.
Yes, because
with
he's
his toddler son.
Because he's a little cunt.
Talk about disrespecting the office of the president, but no one seems to be bothered about it.
No, because the presidency has been devalued over the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The same way as like the office of the Prime Minister of Great Britain actually has no value anymore.
It's not it has no value, it's just that people are willing to disrespect it to such an extent that they do. I mean, can you imagine you going to the White House and showing up in t-shirt and jeans?
I got turned away. I was thinking about this the other day because for some reason it came back to me. But when I was in plaster after I broke my leg when I was 19, I went to the theatre, believe it or not, to see a show in Shaftesbury Avenue.
Yeah.
And
a musical, obviously, not a proper.
It was kind of a musical. It was a weird one. It started off being called Y, the letter Y. But it went bankrupt, and then it got taken over, bailed out by another group, and it came on stage as I, as in I. A friend of mine was dancing in it, so it was just like I was along for support.
What's this got to do with your broken leg?
Well, I'm getting there, but you sidetracked me. Anyway, I've turned up for this night at the theatre on my crutches. I'm not long out of hospital. I'm having real trouble walking. I've got my leg in plaster. So, of course, I'm wearing a pair of shorts because I can't get any pants on. Like jeans. They just, you can't.
Can't, no.
They wouldn't let me in. They would not let me into the theatre. They discriminated against me on every level. 1, for not wearing pants. 2, for being a cripple. It was fucking awful. I mean, they let me in eventually, but I couldn't go to my table, which was booked for me on the floor.
You were
I had to go
risk.
upstairs in the gods. Upstairs! No fucking elevator. God, I could have sued the pants off them if they were still there today.
Sorry, Andy, I don't want to go through your medical records, but you've had a problem with your leg. You broke your leg when you were 19.
I broke my leg more than once.
Well, that must have a bearing on your current amputation risk at the moment, surely.
Wrong leg.
Oh, is it? That was the
That
other
was my
leg,
good
was
leg.
Oh dear. No, but seriously, the world is moving very quickly, and I don't think that people realize how dramatic, how quickly this all could change. I mean, just think about it. Trump is basically blacklisting news agencies from the briefing room. Actually stated, it's a privilege, she says, the press secretary, for you to be invited to ask the questions to the president. So Associated Press got banned from 2 or 3 press conferences so far this week. And do you know the reason why?
Um, Probably something terribly small.
Well, it wasn't because they said this president is an absolute twat and a moron. What they said was, we're going to continue calling Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, so will I. I
Because
mean,
everybody will.
yeah, of course. It's but unfortunately, it's one of those generational things, isn't it?
Well,
Because the
thing
kids
is,
being brought up today, going to school in America, especially, will be told it's the Gulf of America, and that's
yeah,
it.
you're right. So, there's things like that going on. You've got sacking, we've talked about this before, sacking of all of the checks and balances within government departments, all gone. And so the media is completely now controlled. It's their narrative. There is no fact checking online, so they can print what they like. You've got Elon Musk, the wealthiest man in the world, determined to make poor people poorer. And on a global level, they're just what do you say when you're just coming in on yourself? Insulationist or something?
Isolationists.
Isolationist. And, so we lived in a global world up until 3 weeks ago, and now it's all gone to hell.
Yeah, but he did say that the first thing he'd do if he got elected was basically turn America into a dictatorship.
Well, that's what he said between the lines, and no one actually thought he would do it. But he is literally doing it in front of us, in real time. It's happening.
I mean, the
And what are
good
people
news.
doing?
The good news is because he's like 150 years old, he'll probably die soon.
No, but the thing is that we spoke on this again last week when we said that there's probably a group of people in the background thinking, what's the most stupid thing we can get him to say?
Yeah,
Had we done the straw?
And he keeps doing it. They got a new winner.
Straw?
Yeah,
last week we did the straw, the exploding straw.
The exploding straw.
The president of the United States of America on live press conference TV signing an order reverting back to plastic straws. What's going to be next? It's just absurd. Has he literally got nothing better to do than sign executive orders about paper straws?
Well,
So I think that we're going to be, the things are moving so quickly. It's lucky. I sort of think it's lucky we're in Sweden, but I'm not too sure now.
Well, Sweden might make a good 52nd state.
Yeah, because I don't know, we've got good skiing in Sweden or something.
Well, also,
he likes blonde women.
A lot of the Swedes would be very supportive of it.
Do you think?
Fuck me, yeah. Can you imagine the amount of new ragabil that would come make its way here? All he'd have to do is promise everyone a '67 Chevy, and that's it. We're Americans.
Would you be willing to take up arms?
Fuck no, but not unless they came to my front door.
Well,
I wouldn't fight for any country.
You wouldn't?
No. But if you come and steal my cat food, mate, then we got a problem.
You've got a daughter living in this country.
Yeah, she wouldn't want to fight for it either. It's a shithole. They're all shitholes. And also, what's the point of me dying to keep rich people rich? Fuck off. We've been doing that for centuries. I'm not going to continue that trend.
No, but that's where you're wrong. This is actually a fight against the rich.
But it's not. It's just a
It
case
is.
of replacing the devil you know with the devil you don't. Because
No, but no.
whoever wins will just elect a new fucking leadership that will do exactly the same.
No, but the thing is that always previously in the States, because it's so clear cut, the Republican Party has always represented the interests of corporate America, big pharma, everybody, all the corporates who are
Yeah,
generating
they're
all of these
basically the
billionaires.
conservatives.
Yeah, it's what they are. That's
Hmm.
what they are. But now, I wouldn't be surprised with all of this tariff activity that Trump clearly doesn't understand, that some of the actual corporates might turn against this idiot because it's not in their best interests. I
Um,
think that we might actually have a complete switch around in America where, funnily enough, it's the very people that thought the Republican Party represented would actually turn against it because they're doing such stupid things.
well, they need to pull their finger out and get on with it.
Oh no, they will. They absolutely. But I think that Europe, as they've done, I think we need to start standing up to this.
Yes,
I don't want to listen to some idiot Vance
I've never even heard.
preaching about democracy in Europe. For Christ's sake,
They don't
the
even
mo-
know where Europe is, for fuck's sake.
no, you're right. If you put a map up, where did you go to last week, JD?
Somewhere in the south.
Wasn't he Catwoman Man? He is
What?
Catwoman Man.
Catwoman, man? What do you mean?
Yes. He described women as mad as hatters, and they're all cat women because they're unmarried. Unmarried cat women should be put in prison.
Oh,
No,
dear
that was
God.
him. That was him.
Well,
So I
these
mean,
are the people.
there's so
These are the
much
people they
entertaining
elect.
stuff. No, it is literally 70, whatever it was, 5 million people voted for them.
Do better, America.
You're right. Do better. Get rid of Vance for us. He's just an embarrassment. The only reason he is vice president is because I can't remember the name of the billionaire that supports him. He's got
Well,
some billionaire who's been promoting him through the ranks politically for the last 10 years, just bunging money at his campaign. And now, shame I can't remember his name, that billionaire has got the vice president of the United States of America in his pocket.
yeah, but I mean, there are a bunch of billionaires with Trump in their pocket.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But anyway, whatever. It was just this. It was ridiculous, completely ridiculous. Anyway, and Nick Ferrari on LBC.
I haven't listened to that for years now.
He is so far down the rabbit hole.
I haven't listened to that for years now because I find him fucking sycophantic these days. He just sucks up to whoever's in power.
Yep, Nigel Farage, Donald Trump, and that fellow who's the deputy leader of Reform, Rice, I think his name is, another billionaire. And he goes on the radio and he just says the most ridiculous things. And he just sort of, what really winds me up, which is why I tend to not listen to this anymore, the journalists never challenge him. So the other day he was being interviewed about something about what do you call it? Putin appeaser, saying Ukraine should just give up the territory. And the journalist very effectively said, so what part of Britain would you give up to Putin if he invaded Britain? What would it be? Wales? Ireland? And he said, well, no, of course not. Oh, I see. So it's okay if it's the UK, but other countries, that's all right, is it? And then he just made some flippant remark about electricity. Do you know how much electricity prices are in England?
I think you told me a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, that they are 4 or 5 times what we pay in Sweden. And he threw out some comment about, well, you know why we pay so much for electricity? It's all these environmental carbon zero policy. And it was just complete nonsense. Sweden has so much more green energy, and the price is a quarter of what they. It's got nothing to do with green energy.
No, but they do use the net zero approach as an excuse for putting up the price of everything.
No, but that's exactly right. It's the electricity companies who are just, what do you call it, gouging the prices from,
they are price
from the
gouging.
consumer. It's got nothing to do with green energy and everything to do with profiteering.
Yeah, they say, oh, if you want green electricity, it costs us more to produce, so we're going to charge you 4 times as much.
Yeah.
And they give you the same electricity that they've been producing for 4 times less.
No, it's... I mean, I say it's entertaining. I mean, I'm sort of getting a little bit concerned that we may see... And, you know, I've got children, I've got grandchildren.
Well, you've got a grandchild.
No, there's another one on the way.
Oh, God, yeah, I forgot about Izzy.
Yep.
Has she set a date yet? I haven't had my invite.
What, for the birth?
Well, yeah, and for the wedding.
Oh, the wedding.
I should be there at the birth. The father should always be there at the birth.
No, well, that's coming up soon. Anyway, whatever. It's a crazy world, but luckily we've got blue skies outside. It's a nice, crisp winter's day.
I got woken up. Oh, I didn't get woken up, but I woke up to 2 emails from some company informing me that I was a potential claimant against Northvolt, our beer, that has gone into bankruptcy.
What?
Yeah, it looks like our Chapter 11 is finished and we haven't got a plan A.
No, that would have been all over the news.
Well, I mean, I was going to say I could get into trouble for this, but I don't see how. I got emails from
some lawyer, some firm of solicitors or something.
Basically, yeah. Giving me a case number, a bar date notice, and a proof of claim form.
So on what basis are you claiming against the company?
Wages.
I thought they've been paying wages.
They have been paying wages. And I mean, my first reaction, unfortunately, because of the hour I wake up, of course, the first thing I did was contact my direct manager saying, so to save me any wasted time, am I going to come to work on Monday or are the gates going to be locked? And a couple of hours later, I got dinged back, come to work as normal. So I don't know if this is
a scam. Do you have to pay?
No, but I don't know if this is the end of the company or if this is another transition or what. I'll find out on Monday, I guess.
Because one assumes it went to all the employees.
Yes, except my little Portuguese girlie. She didn't get one. I was out for lunch with her yesterday.
But do you know if anybody else got them?
Yeah, her boyfriend got one. My man Robin from my group, he got one. I'm guessing everyone got it. I posted in one of our groups at work on our teams and nobody was asking what are you talking about? I think everybody got the same one.
What a bloody shambles.
Yeah, especially as last week they were doing an all hands, telling us how fab we're doing and talking about bonuses and shit. And then 4 days later, bada bing, bada bong.
Yeah, but you can't believe, it could be a solicitor's company. I mean, why would a solicitor's company contact you relating against wages?
This is official. This is official. It's not a scam. It's not a phishing thing. It's official. If this was any kind of phishing scam, it would be illegal and whoever was perpetrating it would be prosecuted.
Why are you looking so guilty? Have you sent them all out?
I didn't think I'd come on top this quickly. I thought I'd get a few people in the bag first.
No, because surely it would be the union who would contact you.
They've given us a list of stuff to do, which includes contacting the union, going down to the Arbits for Medlingen and registering the first day possible. It was like, I was just reading, for me, it looked like I won't be able to go to work on Monday. but
Well,
we shall see.
They're going to have to deal with it. I wonder where they got all your names and email addresses from.
Because it's official, they've got them from the company records, I guess. They've been provided.
So rather than a firm of solicitors, do you think this is actually a company who deal with redundancies?
Well, I was hoping you could enlighten me a bit.
Yeah, well, that's actually, yeah. What they do is they employ companies to fulfill their obligations in terms of providing you with the necessary tools to find gainful employment.
Oh, they've done that with the last set of redundancies, but this is Stretto Northvolt RB. I shouldn't have said Northvolt.
Well, you've said it twice now, actually.
Anyway, but they sent to my personal and my professional emails. So, yeah, it's pretty official.
Because normally that sort of thing would get leaked to the press quite quickly. You know, it's because it's simply the numbers. If they're sending it to 1,000 people,
3,000.
3,000 people, I don't have SVT on my thing. Because the journalists are pretty hot on that sort of thing, especially with your company, because there's been so much in the press. They've probably got dedicated journalists.
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, my manager knew about it because he didn't question my question, as it were. He just responded with, just come to work as normal.
All right. Well, that's
Anyway,
not good, is it?
That's that. Yeah, but I mean, there's no point in worrying about that until tomorrow.
No.
But we've wasted half our show.
You can learn some lessons from what we're about to talk about. You're probably good enough technically to start a bit of a velvet road, you could call it.
Velvet Avenue. But it's time we did actually dig in, because we got nowhere last week because of your argumentative personality.
Only because you were facilitating paedophiles and fraudsters and
don't start before we've started. Fucking moron. We got as far last week. We ascertained that basically no crimes were committed by the by the owners of the dark web site. They only made allegedly $11 million out of it, and yet they got sentenced to 5 billion years in prison. Yeah. But we stopped when it came to the hunt for the dread pirate Roberts.
Yes. Where did he flee to?
Well, in order to identify him, the FBI undertook a very painstaking process over time. By piecing together his digital footprints, sifting through years of his online history and communications with other users. And the search was started by Agent 1, a code name given to the computer expert who was cited in court documents, Agent fucking 1. Oh, now I'm going to digress, because you know what? I watched a Mission Impossible film yesterday.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
What, with Tom Cruise is your favourite actor?
And well, no, but funnily enough, Simon Pegg I quite enjoy. Pegg.
Yeah,
but,
he was in it.
I know, but I've still never seen one.
Don't.
Oh, really?
Fucking hell. It was written by an 11-year-old. It was awful. It was fucking awful. It was so bad that you know when a film's so bad you can't stop watching it? This one was so bad that I could stop watching it.
Really?
It was awful. The whole storyline was just insane. The villain, and it was part one of a two-parter. They're making a second part of this shit. The villain was an AI that had become sentient and was known as, get this, the Entity.
God.
It was like, fuck off. It's like the Beano. Who wrote this shit? It was just, and the action scenes, I mean,
weren't impressive.
They were just ridiculous. There was a train that was slowly falling off a bridge that had been exploded, carriage by carriage. And Tom and his girlfriend were climbing up the carriages one by one and making it to the next carriage just before the chain broke and the carriage plummeted to the river below.
It sounds really good because he does all his own stunts.
That wasn't stunts. That was standing in a green screen going... He's 78. He's not going to be climbing up vertical hanging trains.
I think Tom Cruise is not far off our age, actually.
He's the same age as me, I think.
Okay, well, that's pretty similar to me. Let's have a look. How old is Tom Cruise? Carry on.
Oh, but...
what got us onto Tom Cruise?
Oh, because I saw the word mission and secret agent.
Oh, all right.
Anyway.
How old is Trump? How old is Trump? Oh, it didn't come up this time. Tom, carry on.
They're probably not listening now because they're on their way to actually arrest you.
Yep.
For the treason that you've been preaching this morning.
Ooh, actually, he's between the two of us. He was born in July 62. You're born in 63, aren't you?
Oh, right. Yep. Okay, anyway, back to the story because we don't want to make this a three-parter.
Carry on. Talk fast.
So records, So Agent One. That was the code name given to the guy who undertook an extensive search of the internet and sifted through thousands of pages of information. I do that every day. It dated back to January 2011. And the trial began with a post made on a web forum where users discussed the use of magic mushrooms. This guy's got a dream job, hasn't he?
Yep.
Fuck's sake.
Researching the sites of magic mushrooms.
I'm going to track down the porn barons and I'll start by watching all the porn on the interwebs. He made a post entitled Anonymous Market Online ? And he wrote, "Let me know what you think." And this post accompanied a link to a site hosted by the popular blogging platform WordPress, which is now basically a website hosting company, I believe. In turn, this contained another link to the Silk Road's location on the so-called dark web. And records obtained by Agent One through WordPress revealed, unsurprisingly, that the blog had been set up by an anonymous user who had hidden their location. And it wasn't long before Altoid appeared on another discussion site, this time on bitcointalk.org, where he talked about virtual currency. It appeared that Altoid was using a common online marketing tactic and was attempting to make Silk Road go viral through word of mouth. So months later, in October 2012, Altoid appeared again, but this time he made a slip-up, granting investigators their first major lead. With a post seeking to find an IT expert with knowledge of Bitcoin. He asked
in the Los Alamos region
to apply at this telephone number.
Yes, exactly.
He asked people to contact him via an email, a Gmail address, actually. So with an email address at hand, Agent One linked it to accounts on the Google Plus social network and YouTube video site where he discovered some of Mr. Ulbricht's interests. He found, after scrolling through his viewing history, that economics was one such topic. In particular, Mr. Ulbricht's account had favorited several clips from the Ludwig von Mises Institute, which is a renowned Austrian school of economics. By the following year, on the Silk Road discussion forums, Dread Pirate Roberts would make several references to this institute and the work undertaken there. And through records obtained from Google, Agent One was able to locate details of IP addresses and therefore locations that were used to log into Mr. Ulbricht's account, which focused the search to San Francisco, specifically to an internet cafe on Laguna Street. Furthermore, detailed analysis of Silk Road's source code highlighted a function that enabled the restriction of who was allowed access to log in and control the website, locking it down to just one IP address. So the master controller, as it were.
So you mean this fellow, this Ulrich, whatever,
Yeah.
master, whatever, pirate fellow, he did all his stuff from a bloody internet cafe.
We're safer. And I mean, this was 2011 as well. Don't forget, it's 15 years ago nearly.
So there wasn't the possibility of shielding his identity with a VPN or whatever you call it.
Yeah, there was, but why put your own address at risk? Why shit on your own doorstep when there's a toilet round the corner?
Because I'm sure he had to spend quite a bit of time at the internet cafe.
I would imagine that he did a lot of coding at home and then uploaded it in the internet cafe. That's the way I would do it if I was some kind of master criminal.
So did they do a raid on the internet cafe while he was having his mocha cappuccino latte?
Well, no, because they found, as expected, that Dread Pirate Roberts was using a VPN that generated a false IP address, which was designed to cover his tracks.
Oh, no.
In an effort to circumvent this, the FBI subpoenaed the provider of the VPN. Now, this is a very, very murky grey area, because if the FBI can subpoena a VPN company to give them the secrets, why would anyone buy a VPN?
Well, because not everybody is getting a VPN to circumvent the law.
But
they're just doing it so they can watch.
It doesn't
UK
matter. The
Netflix.
unique selling point of a VPN is that it masks your IP from everybody.
No, but that's to prevent fraud against you, isn't it?
But the point is, it masks your address against everybody. It hides you from everybody, not everybody except the FBI.
I was going to say, well, it is everybody except the FBI, it seems.
Now, although Dread Pirate Roberts had taken steps to delete a lot of data, the VPN server's records showed that a user had logged into the account from an internet cafe just 500 yards from an address on Hickory Street, known to be the home address of a close friend of Ross Ulbricht's, and was also the location that had been used to log into the Gmail account. So with this information, FBI investigators concluded that the clues uncovered by Agent 1 were enough to suggest that Mr. Ulbricht and Dread Pirate Roberts were, if not the same person, at the very least residing in the same location at the exact same time. Maybe they were pirate lovers.
Did they go in guns blazing?
Well, in March 2012, it was discovered that further activity had taken place on the coding question and answer site, Stack Overflow, where a user by the name of Frosty had asked questions about complex coding that later became part of the source code of Silk Road. And this user had registered on the question and answer website for programmers with Ulbricht's email address and initially posted under the username Ross Ulbricht. To post the question.
He's been done.
Yeah, to post the question, how can I connect to a hidden service using curl in PHP?
Shall I give you a very quick interlude?
Go on.
I got a call the other day from
Microsoft?
blockchain support.
Oh, have you been scammed?
What? Well, no, I haven't, because I said...
No, but that's what they want to know.
Oh, is that...
I don't know.
I didn't understand it. Well,
I'm
no,
just preempting.
I just literally, I said, what? Blockchain support? No, not today. I said, thanks for calling, but not today. I put the phone down. But what possible scam? You know, He wanted to explain blockchain to me. I said, no, goodbye. But I don't understand Microsoft. You might want to pay to unblock your computer. But what if you don't have Bitcoin, who uses blockchain?
No, but they're going to want to sell it to you. They're going to want you to invest on a monthly basis.
Oh, I see. Anyway, whatever. It was a new one.
And tell you about the
service.
the fantastic 400% profit rate that they make.
Oh, anyway, sorry. So he's just about to be arrested. His collar felt, I think is the expression.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, because he'd registered his own name, he realised his mistake immediately, and he changed the username moments later, but it was too late because it's already been recorded. So he changed it to Frosty, but the initial Ross Ulbricht was already there. So prosecutors would explain that this was done to conceal his association with the message that he had posted just 1 minute previously about how do I access anonymously. The lead prosecutor, Christopher Tarbell, said the computer code on the Silk Road web server includes a customized PHP script based on curl that is functionally very similar to the computer code described in Ulbricht's posting on Stack Overflow, and includes several lines of code that are identical to lines of code quoted in that posting. He added that the posting was accessible to anyone on the internet and implicated him in operating a Tor hidden service. Tor, if you remember, is the Onion server thing. Now, despite his apparent success at building the eBay of hard drugs through anonymous servers and a hidden identity, Dread Pirate Roberts began to leave a trail of traceable activity on social media. Ulbricht couldn't help himself. He was boasting about running his international multi-million-dollar drugs marketplace on his LinkedIn profile.
What?
You never know when you might need to change your path in careers.
So what is the point of doing all this Agent 1 research if all you got to do is look at his bloody LinkedIn profile that says, I lead a multinational platform for drug dealers?
Well, you know, when I applied for this current job, I had a LinkedIn profile and I had to quickly change it.
Because what? Because
I think my LinkedIn profile described me as savior of maidens, slayer of dragons.
Oh dear.
And then it was while I was in the process of deleting it, because they will check it. I discovered it took up to 6 weeks to actually functionally disable my LinkedIn profile. So I don't know if they ever saw it. But surprisingly, they use it a lot. If you click on anyone in our team's profile, it always also links their LinkedIn.
I mean, I've got one, but LinkedIn didn't exist when I left work.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Anyway, come on. I want to hear his arrest. Did he scream and cry like a baby?
Well, Tarbell said Ulbricht elaborates obliquely that he has since focused on creating an economic simulation designed to give people a first-hand experience of what it would be like to live in a world without the systematic use of force by institutions and governments. I believe that this economic simulation referred to by Ulbricht is in fact Silk Road. In order to work out how to best ship things from his international multi-million-dollar drugs marketplace, Ulbricht sought contacts in courier firms on Google+, where his real name, real photographs, and real YouTube profile were visible. And there's, I'm looking at a clip of a post here from Ross Ulbricht, which was shared publicly, which basically says, anybody know someone that works for UPS, FedEx, or DHL? He asked that on Google+. Meanwhile, on his YouTube profile, linked to from that page, Ulbricht had saved a couple of videos for later, including one from the ultra-libertarian Mises Institute titled How to Get Away with Stealing. And this would later be used as evidence against him. Tarbell explained that the Dread Pirates' user signature in the Silk Road forum includes a link to the Mises Institute website. Moreover, Roberts has cited the Austrian economic theory and the works of Ludwig von Mises as providing the philosophical underpinnings for Silk Road. So when some letters containing drugs were seized at O'Hare Chicago Airport by Homeland...
O'Hare. No one says O'Hare.
It's spelt O'Hare. It's the Gulf of Mexico.
Carry on.
So when the drugs were seized at Chicago Airport,
yes,
by Homeland Security, by agent, get this, I would investigate this guy, by security agent Jared de Yeghiayan.
Yes.
Suspicious. In October 2011, an investigation was launched by Chicago authorities, codenamed Operation Dime Store, with the objective of documenting the discovery and seizure of letters. Now, the Department for Homeland Security, or the DHS...
BHS.
DHS?
No, it's British Home Stores.
No, Department of Health and Social Security. They soon began a larger investigation of the online drug market after an offhand tip from an informant to agents in Maryland in mid-2011. In conjunction with agents of a multi-agency Baltimore task force, Homeland Security agents conducted several interviews with this informant, who told DHS investigators about an online drugs bazaar where international sales of illicit drugs and other contraband were conducted anonymously and with impunity. "You guys are in law enforcement. You might want to look at this," he told them. The informant directed investigators to the website, accessible only through the Tor anonymizing network, and went on to explain how transactions for drugs worked using the digital currency Bitcoin. He further explained that Silk Road also sold stolen credit and debit cards, counterfeit currencies, fake IDs, login credentials for hacked accounts, and hacking software tools.
All available.
All available on the dark web, yeah. The informant himself had conducted several drug sales on Silk Road, and he then provided agents with access to his account, which gave them the information on various buyers. Agents then assumed the online identity of this informant and began conversing with other vendors using the informant's account. The tip had been given roughly 6 months after Silk Road had launched, and it coincided with the growing notoriety of the Emporium. And this jump in website traffic followed an article by Gorka published in June 2011, which would spawn another multi-agency investigation and task force based out of Baltimore, and this one was codenamed Marco Polo.
But why all these investigations? Why don't they just arrest the bloke?
Oh, you know that the arrest is the last phase of anything. They want to drag it out as long as possible. There's many reasons for that. One is the overtime pay, and no, it's true. It's true. They get funding for this. You know, it's like you have to apply for funding for everything in the States, including police operations. And if you're getting funding, you're going to drag it out as long as possible. And secondly, of course, the excuse they use is they want to make a watertight case. They need as much evidence as possible before they can take it to the DA. So it was codenamed Marco Polo. Marco Polo. In reference to the drug market's historical namesake. It would eventually include investigators from the FBI, the DHS, the DEA, the IRS, the US Postal Inspection, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, they've added to the ATF. It's the ATFE now, and the Secret Service.
Ooh, big boys.
Other investigations were simultaneously launched in New York and Chicago, because why not have 12 investigations looking into the same thing? In the aftermath of the Gawker story, Democratic Senators Charles Schumer of New York and Joe Manchin of West Virginia, sent a letter to the Attorney General Eric Holder, as well as the head of the DEA, urging them to crack down on Bitcoin exchanges and Silk Road. And with this, the FBI and the DEA launched their investigation. Meanwhile, DHS Customs, US Postal Inspectors, and Border Protection agents were already seizing suspicious packages from an international mail centre, which was later connected to Silk Road buyers and sellers. As investigators in New York focused on gathering evidence centred on the drug sales, law enforcement in Maryland began mapping the operation. And they concentrated on identifying two groups associated with Silk Road: the top 1% of sellers and the moderators and system administrators whose computers and login details, once seized, would provide evidence of the site's private communication and user account details.
So, sorry, this site actually had moderators like forums and things like that?
Yes.
And what was their job, do you think?
Well, if you've got thousands of sellers and tens of thousands of buyers, you need some kind of moderation.
What, to make sure the sellers are selling good stuff?
Yeah, basically, and also to cut out scammers on your website. You've got to have moderators.
What, sort of like honour among thieves?
Yeah.
It's all right doing drug deals and selling,
but it better be
porn.
pucker stuff.
Exactly, but you don't want any scammers there.
So the Maryland law enforcement said that moderators and admins were our main objective. We identified some of them, and that led to some information that helped us to understand the inner circle of Silk Road. We also took down some drug traffickers and those selling IDs and guns. From there, we gained a lot of intelligence about the people involved. Now, in order to apprehend the mysterious and brazen dread pirate Roberts, the investigators decided to make a number of initial arrests that were kept secret from the media and handled in ways that prevented co-conspirators from learning of the arrests. So they basically disappeared them. Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo.
Whatever. Incommunicado City. I mean, I think it's awful that they can just disappear people like that.
What, paedophiles and drug dealers?
They're not. Who said anything about paedophiles? They've spoken about guns and drugs.
And these are the moderators, I assume.
These are the administrators and the moderators. Yeah,
yeah.
That's you. See, you're all go America, lock them all up, disappear them. Yay, yay, yay! Make us great again.
Oh dear. I wonder how many people are going to disappear now.
Well, two that I know of.
What?
You and me.
Well, yes, you're right.
Investigators refused to explain how this was achieved because we know, but it is known that they sealed court documents, removed key information from public documents that would point towards an investigation, filed state charges instead of federal ones to keep a suspect's records out of more easily accessible federal court databases, and held back from filing charges against some suspects until after the arrest of the Silk Road owner. So they held them illegally. and then they covered their tracks illegally. Fucking unbelievable. Around 6 months after the investigation began, agents swooped on their first target. So 6 months of overtime, drinking coffee and eating donuts outside an internet cafe in Chicago, near O'Hare Airport. Baltimore resident Jacob Theodore George IV.
Yep, he doesn't exist.
Sorry, Jacob, but you've got the worst name I've read all day.
Or the best.
Had first appeared on the Silk Road forums in June 2011, shortly after the Gawker story, and began trading under the username Digital Link.
And what was he flogging?
He quickly became one of the top sellers on the site, thanks in part to his clever marketing gimmicks such as free drug samples and special offers of buy one, get one free bog-offs.
Pretty original, isn't it?
I mean, the free drug
Who would have thought
samples,
of that?
free drug samples on its own. Can you imagine how many people clicked on that?
No.
How much would that have cost him? Now, the 32-year-old, because he was 32, his alleged inventory included methadone, which was a synthetic drug known on the streets as bath salts. And it was a disgusting, filthy drug that turned people into fucking jellos, basically, that he imported from China, as well as heroin and scramble, which is a mixture of heroin and quinine. So I suppose if you've got malaria, but you're also a junkie.
Yeah, it does you good. Big seller in the
Get
Indian
high and
subcontinent.
lose your yellow palla in the same hit, which he bought from local dealers. Now, George was no stranger to drugs, and it wasn't the first time that he'd been accused of committing illegal activities. He'd previously been arrested in 2005 for operating an eBay scam, for which he was sentenced to 27 months in prison. On July 5th, 2011, shortly after law enforcement in Baltimore began looking into Silk Road, Digital Inc. revealed in a post in the forum that a US postal inspector had contacted him about a package addressed to him that contained a suspicious white powder, which was in fact methadone that was spilling out. And because of this, the postal authorities refused to deliver it. Other Silk Road users warned George that he should ignore the agent and write the package off as a loss, but he refused to listen and reasoned that methadone wasn't strictly a banned substance if not used for human consumption, and he felt confident that he could get it back. See, this is 101 stupidity.
I was going to say, this is the level of intellect we're dealing with.
If the police come to your door and say, we found this package addressed to you and it's a bit suspicious, is it yours? You're going to immediately turn around and go, no idea what that is, officer.
Exactly. But this fellow,
Not-
yes, that's mine.
Yeah, that's
and I
mine.
wanted.
And I want it back because it's technically not illegal if it's not for my own consumption. What a muppet. He looks like a muppet, to be honest. So it was the principle of the matter, arguing that seizing his package was illegal.
These people.
His reasoning went like this. It's not banned where I'm from, so they have no right to discard our shit, correct? Wouldn't it be against the law?
Why is he speaking with an East End accent?
Because, I don't know, he's got a cousin there. It's not about losing a small amount of methadone. This is about standing up for my rights and making it clear in the future they will not hold any of my methadone shipments without a piece of me. In another post on the forum, he described how he had smooth-talked the agent into the retrieving of his package. I bet. He said, I apologised sincerely and talked about how bad the world is and sorry for this mishap. And I explained that's the reason why I called, to make sure that they didn't worry it was toxic when I told them it was methadone and I was going to use it for my garden. He wrote, almost to a point where they were relieved to know what it was, and I was told they would be repackaging it and sending it shortly if that's what it was. Well, that's that, he added. As to my address being watched, no worries, gentlemen. I'm guessing I'm lucky my girlfriend lives about 5 minutes' drive from me. The following day, he claimed victory, asserting that he was so slick and his methadone had arrived as promised. Some of his fellow Silk Road members weren't so impressed. Oh, wow, the idiocy is unmatched, wrote one user by the name of Itmux. It seems very possible that Digital Ink will be busted sometime soon. Judging by his behaviour so far, it wouldn't surprise me in the least if he rolls over and gives them full access to his account. It also wouldn't surprise me if he keeps the addresses of past customers written down by his computer. He was soon to encounter more problems when, early in 2012, some Digital Ink customers posted complaints that their orders never arrived. Apparently, fed up with the ingratitude of the Silk Road buyers, Digital Ink wrote on January the 14th, 2012, I have been burned 4 times, robbed once, and put up with Silk Road drama and all the trolls on the boards. We put our freedom on the line to bring you our products. You know, I have a family, children, and I'm not a pixel. On January 19th, some 6 months after he joined the site, he announced he was taking a break from the marketplace. And I think we have to take a break here.
What I was gonna, who's this fellow got to do with this fellow Ulrich getting arrested?
It's part of the track, the road to the top. You've got to bust the little ones to get to the big ones. We'll finish up with him, but then we're going to have to continue next week because we've used our hour. So anyway, 6 days later, after taking a break, he was arrested in Maryland. Law enforcement officials admitted they were not yet investigating George at the time when he said postal inspectors contacted him concerning the suspicious package and refused to confirm if postal inspectors had actually made contact with him. With his arrest, investigators had removed him as a main drug seller on Silk Road. However, the real value lay in the ability to amass more intelligence that allowed them to penetrate deeper into the illegal drug site and one step closer to the dread pirate Roberts. So with full access to his account, investigators now had their foot in the door and they wielded control over many emails, shipping records, and the financial details of his drug transactions, which would help greatly in identifying other potential targets. Agents posed as drug buyers and gathered even more evidence, and in order to keep his arrest secret, investigators refrained from filing charges until a later date, so they disappeared him again. And that is where we're going to leave this week's episode of Strange Stuff Podcast, and the intriguing spaghetti-like trail of the dread pirate Roberts. Are you keeping track?
Dear. I am keeping track. But what I want to know, what I want you to deal with is this fellow's arrest, and then, more interestingly, how the hell it came that Donald Trump decided to pardon him.
It was probably one of his top customers for Viagra.
Exactly.
And what do they call them? Mickey Fins.
What's that?
For spiking people's drinks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he's used a few of those in his time. Dirty bastard. Anyway, Yeah, thanks for
So we
listening.
got a third episode, do we?
Yeah, it looks like it. And if we fucking rant on for half an hour next week, like we did this week, there'll be a fourth. So watch yourself. So thanks for listening, everyone. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook, and I think that's more or less it these days. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the story so far, and stay tuned for hopefully the final episode next week. But it might be a 4-parter. We'll know more.
No, we've got to do a 3-parter.
We'll know more at the end of next week. So have yourselves a strange week, but don't make it so strange that you do a 3-part series on the Dread Pirate Roberts when you only intended to do a 1-parter. And don't find yourself in a bankrupt company not knowing whether or not to go to work tomorrow. Have a good one.
Yep.
See you next time.
Cheerio.